Okay, so as I told you that in this periodic table 92 naturally occurring elements are there, and among these 92 naturally occurring elements, they are broadly classified into metals, non-metals as well as metalloids. Clear? Some are metals, some are non-metals, and some which show the property of both are called metalloids. Clear? So basically, not only naturally occurring elements, even those elements which are man-made, which are synthetic, are also classified into metals and non-metals. Now, starting with the physical properties of metals and non-metals, the first property that we'll be discussing with is the physical state. Metals are mostly existing as solids at room temperature with an exception of mercury, whereas non-metals exist either as solid or liquid or gas. Okay, we have example for each. Solid, carbon, sulfur, phosphorus, iodine, all these will be the solid non-metals. Bromine, a liquid non-metal. Okay, whereas if we'll talk about gaseous non-metals, we have oxygen, hydrogen, etc. Okay, moving on to the next properties. The next one is, first is lustrous. Metals are all lustrous, while non-metals are dull in appearance. But we have an exception here, iodine as well as graphite. Clear? So this is luster. Luster means metallic shine. Okay. Next one, melting point and boiling point. Generally, metals have very high melting points as well as boiling points, with an exception, gallium and cesium, and these two metals have very low melting point. They can even melt on the palm of your hand. 27 degrees Celsius, 27.5 degrees Celsius, 28.5 degrees Celsius, means like that it is there. Okay. Next property, hardness and strength. Metals are mostly very hard and strong and therefore used for making many articles. Well known to you all. Metals are very hard and strong. Okay. But we have an exception, sodium, potassium, lithium, etc. They are soft metals. Clear? They are soft metals and they have low density also. On the other hand, if we'll talk about non-metals, non-metals are generally, just watch it first, sodium, lithium, potassium are soft metals and can be cut even with the help of knife. Now the next one again, malleability. Metals can be beaten into thin sheets as they are all malleable. Metals are ductile. They can be drawn into thin wires. Okay, on the contrary, non-metals are neither malleable nor ductile. Gold is the most ductile metal, and wire of about 2 kilometer length can be drawn from 1 gram of gold. You all have studied it earlier also. Okay, moving on to the next. What happens when metals are hit? You all know that it produces sound. So metals are all sonorous. They produce sound, ringing sound when they are hit or strike against a hard surface. On the contrary, non-metals are non-sonorous. Clear? Talking about conductivity, metals are all good conductor of heat and electricity, whereas non-metals are not, but we have an exception, graphite. Clear? Metals are good thermal and electrical conductor, but non-metals are bad conductor of heat and electricity, with an exception of graphite. Remember that. Okay. Best conductor of heat, silver. Second best, copper, followed by aluminium. These three you have to remember in sequence. Silver, copper, then aluminium. Lead and mercury are comparatively poor conductors of heat as well as electricity. Even iron is also poor conductor of electricity. That is why generally iron wires are not used. Now, carbon is a non-metal, as we were discussing in the previous class about allotropy. Carbon is a non-metal that exists in different form, and these different forms are called allotropes of carbon. Diamond, graphite, fullerene, all these are crystalline allotropes of carbon. On the other hand, coke, charcoal, carbon black, all these are amorphous form of carbon. Okay, so different allotropes of carbon are there. Diamond sparkles in light, well known to you all. Graphite, okay, is used for making pencil lead. Graphite is a good conductor of electricity, remember that, as well as graphite is lustrous. It has metallic luster, whereas diamond sparkles in light. Clear? So that is all about the physical properties of metals and non-metals. Clear? Moving on to the next topic now, chemical properties of metals and non-metals. I hope that you all are sitting with your pen and paper so that you can note down the important chemical reactions over here. Balancing you can do later on also, but write down the chemical reactions for each of these. Okay, chemical properties of metals. We have to study about the reaction of metals with oxygen, with water, with acid, with alkali, and same will be for non-metals also. Clear? A little thing that you have to recapitulate what you have already studied in standard 8. The same thing is there with a little vast, very little. Okay, talking about this reaction with oxygen. For all these reactions of metal, always we have to remember the reactivity series. Clear? Because on the basis of reactivity series only, the metals are reacting with anything with which they come in contact. Okay, so this you have to always remember. Reactivity series, you write at the top of your notebook, PSC mesentel. Okay, potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, zinc, iron, nickel, tin, lead. Then we have hydrogen. Then copper, mercury, silver, gold, platinum. So this you have to always remember while talking about this reactivity series. Just you can see over here, it's written here at the top. Potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, zinc, iron. Then hydrogen is placed over here. Reason we'll discuss just now. While discussing with reaction with water, we'll discuss why is hydrogen placed over here. Although it's a non-metal. Then copper, mercury, silver, gold, and platinum. Clear? Out of these reactivity series, sodium, potassium, calcium is considered to be the most reactive metals. Magnesium, aluminium, moderate. Zinc, iron are reactive. You can write, yes, they are also reactive. Copper, mercury, less reactive. Silver, gold, and platinum, least reactive. So that you have to always remember. Now, starting with this reaction with oxygen, metals react with oxygen to form metallic oxides, and these metallic oxides are basic in nature. Clear? Metallic oxides are basic in nature. They are also called basic oxides. The reason, when these metallic oxides are dissolved in water, they form corresponding bases which can turn red litmus paper or solution into blue. Clear? So, and the reaction depends upon, as I told you, reactivity series. Highly reactive metals catch fire on coming in contact with oxygen. As soon as they come in contact with oxygen, they catch fire. Okay. We have an example here. Sodium, when reacts with oxygen, it forms Na2O, sodium oxide. Now, this sodium oxide is actually a metallic oxide, and metallic oxides are called basic oxides. What is the reason? because when this metallic oxide, this one, is dissolved in water, it forms a corresponding base. And this base, NaOH, an alkali is formed over here. This can turn red litmus paper or solution into blue. Okay, that is why the oxides, metallic oxides, are called basic oxides, and they all are basic in nature. Okay, so this is about highly reactive metals. The same reaction you can write about potassium also, about calcium also. And remember, these metals, sodium, potassium, especially, they catch fire when they come in contact with oxygen. Highly reactive. Moving on to the next, moderate reactive, we have magnesium and aluminium. Okay, they need to be heated in the presence of oxygen. See, in the first case, we do not need any external energy. The reaction takes place on its own. As soon as sodium is taken out from kerosene, kept in open air, it catches fire. It reacts with oxygen and forms sodium oxide. Same happens in the case of potassium also. Calcium, little heating is required. As we go down the reactivity series, moderate reactive metals need to be heated in the presence of oxygen. Moderate reactive metals need to be heated in the presence of oxygen. Okay, magnesium ribbon. We discussed this reaction in the previous chapter also, first chapter also. Magnesium ribbon is heated. First it is cleaned with the help of sandpaper to remove the layer of oxide or carbonate formed on it due to corrosion. After that, it is heated in the presence of oxygen, and then it forms magnesium oxide. Clear? And this magnesium oxide, when dissolved in water, it forms magnesium hydroxide. Okay, just try to recapitulate what we did over there. Magnesium ribbon is cleaned and heated in the presence of oxygen. It burns with a white dazzling light, and then it produces a white powder of magnesium oxide. This magnesium oxide is basic in nature. Why? Because on dissolving in water, it forms a corresponding base which can turn red litmus paper into blue. Clear? So that is why it is called basic oxides. This always we have to think of. Now, reactive and less reactive metals also get oxidized. Okay, when we talk about reaction of reactive and less reactive metals, they also get oxidized, but least reactive metals do not react at all. But always remember, the temperature required for the reaction goes on increasing as we go down the reactivity series. Zinc needs to be heated a lot. Then it forms a oxide. It does not catch fire. Okay, oxide is formed over there, but it does not catch fire. Same happens in the case of iron also. When iron is heated in the presence of oxygen, it forms iron 2,3 oxide. Okay, 2,3. Why it is called 2,3 oxide? Because it's a combination of both the oxides of iron. Iron exists in two different valencies, Fe2 plus and Fe3 plus. With Fe2 plus, iron 2 oxide is formed. With Fe3 plus, Fe2O3 is formed. Clear? And a combination of these two is written as a formula Fe3O4. 3 iron, 4 oxygen, Fe3O4. And the name is given iron 2,3 oxide. Common name is ferroferric oxide. That is the common name, ferroferric oxide. Okay. Now, moving on to the next, copper also, if you remember in the previous chapter only we have discussed that copper, when heated in the presence of oxygen, okay, copper when heated in the presence of oxygen, it gets coated with black colored copper oxide. It gets coated with black colored copper oxide. Okay, so this is about the reaction. Moving on to the next. Okay, so moving with the next one. Reaction with water. Okay, reaction of metals with water. This is what we'll be discussing the next. Metals react with water to form metal oxide and hydrogen gas. Listen very carefully. Metals react with water to form metal oxide and hydrogen gas, and we obviously excess of water is there, which further gets dissolved in water to form metal hydroxides. Okay, in general what happens, any metal, if we'll take any metal and if it reacts with water in its liquid form, remember water in its liquid form, it forms metal oxide and hydrogen gas. Okay, this metal oxide, since water is present in large amount obviously, so what it will form? The corresponding metal hydroxide. Okay, but this reaction also depends on the reactivity series. Always remember, reaction of metals with anything depend upon the reactivity series. As we go down the reactivity series, the temperature required for the reaction goes on increasing. Temperature required for the reaction goes on increasing. And that is what happens here also. Okay, when we talk about the highly reactive metals, highly reactive, they catch fire on coming in contact with water. A piece of sodium kept in water will catch fire. Okay, and it will produce sodium hydroxide and hydrogen gas. This sodium hydroxide will automatically get dissolved in water to form sodium hydroxide. So finally, these two reactions can be written in a combined form as this reaction. The next one, Na plus H2O, it forms okay, Na plus H2O, what does it form? It forms sodium hydroxide and hydrogen gas. Clear? So directly, no need to write both the reactions. Directly we can write the third reaction. Sodium can react with normal water, cold water, to form sodium hydroxide and hydrogen gas. Clear? But as we go down, this is not about only sodium. In fact, sodium, potassium, calcium, all these three react with normal cold water, normal water, tap water, cold water. Sodium and potassium catch fire on coming in contact with water as soon as they are placed in water. Reason behind catching fire is that it liberates hydrogen gas and the reaction is highly exothermic. Metal with water reaction is exothermic. Since it is exothermic, enough energy is released and that energy is sufficient enough for hydrogen to catch fire. In case of sodium also, in case of potassium also. But next, calcium is there. Calcium plus water, it will form calcium hydroxide and hydrogen gas. Same way. Just like sodium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide will be formed with the liberation of hydrogen gas, but the energy produced over here is not sufficient enough for hydrogen to catch fire. That is why hydrogen does not catch fire and calcium keeps on floating on the surface of water. Okay, it keeps on floating on the surface of water. So this is about highly reactive metals, sodium, potassium and calcium. Moving on to the next one, magnesium. Magnesium cannot react with cold water. But if a piece of magnesium kept in water and is heated, then same way it will form magnesium hydroxide and hydrogen gas. Because water here also is present in the liquid form, magnesium oxide will be formed that will get dissolved in water, forming magnesium hydroxide. So I think it's very much clear to you. Magnesium does not react with normal water, but can react with hot water. And same way, magnesium hydroxide and hydrogen gas are, these two products are formed. No chance of any catching fire of hydrogen gas over here. No chance. Moving on to the next, aluminium, zinc, iron, etc. can react with steam. Remember, only with steam, neither with cold nor with hot water. Okay, and one more thing you have to remember over here, that with steam, what does this mean? It means that here water is present in the gaseous form. Gaseous form का मतलब क्या हो गया? No liquid water is there, so no hydroxide will be formed, oxides are formed. एकदम ध्यान से देखो बेटा reaction. These reactions are very, very important for you all. Aluminium can react with steam to form aluminium oxide and hydrogen gas. क्यों नहीं hydroxide हुआ? Because here water is present in the gaseous form. Aluminium does not react with water in liquid form, neither cold water nor hot water. और सिर्फ aluminium ही नहीं, aluminium के नीचे वाले और सारे metals. Clear? Zinc also reacts with steam and the product form is zinc oxide and hydrogen. Same way iron also can react with steam. Water जो use होगा यहाँ in the form of steam. And it forms Fe3O4. Again, a combination of iron 2,3 oxide and hydrogen gas. आप सही से लिख लोगे इसको. Clear? So this is about what? Aluminium, zinc and iron. Tin, lead also. Very, very little reaction takes place. Very little, almost nil. लेकिन हाइड्रोजन के नीचे जो मेटल्स हैं, कौन कौन है? कॉपर, मर्क्यूरी, सिल्वर, गोल्ड, प्लैटिनम. They will not react with water at all. Now the question arises, why they do not react with water at all? And the reason is, copper is lesser reactive than hydrogen. इसीलिए हाइड्रोजन को वहां रखा गया बीच में, so that we can differentiate between the elements or the metals which are more reactive than hydrogen and the metals which are lesser reactive than hydrogen. All those which are lesser reactive than hydrogen cannot displace hydrogen from water or from acid. Acid का भी पढ़ेंगे, same thing will happen there also. So copper, even it is given in the exam, what happens when copper reacts with steam? Your answer will be no reaction. Silver, gold, platinum, reaction with steam or water, no reaction at all. I think it's very much clear to every one of you. ठीक है, और एक यहाँ पे क्वेश्चन मैंने दिया था, what will happen if magnesium reacts with steam? What happens when magnesium reacts with steam? Just tell me. Magnesium with steam. Can it react with? Can it react with steam? Can magnesium react with steam? Yes, and what it will form? Very good, it will form the oxide. So ये हमेशा याद रखना है कि when metal reacts with steam, water in the gaseous form, it will form the corresponding oxide. ठीक है? Now some questions are there in the chat box that I just want to discuss once again. ठीक है? कुछ questions हैं जो यहाँ पे important भी हैं. Some are, एक क्वेश्चन किसी ने पूछा है in the beginning only, that it was showed in the video that the man was cutting sodium metal, बट द सोडियम मेटल डिड नॉट कैच फायर. व्हाई? बेटा उसमें वो केरोसिन से निकाल के और उसको कट कर रहे हैं. अनटिल एंड अनलेस केरोसिन का थोड़ा सा भी लेयर है, इट विल नॉट कैच फायर. हाँ, उसको हम फिल्टर पेपर से रैप करके ड्राई कर देंगे, इट विल कैच फायर. ठीक है, वो गीला है अभी, उसमें केरोसिन लगा ही हुआ है. एंड दैट इज व्हाट वी ऑल आर डूइंग इन द लैब. ग्लिसरीन से निकालते हैं, उसके पे ग्लिसरीन का लेयर लगा हुआ रहना चाहिए, केरोसिन लगा हुआ रहना चाहिए, विल कट इट. लेकिन हमें पता है केरोसिन इज वेरी हाईली वोलेटाइल, तो क्या होगा, इट विल इमीडिएटली गेट कन्वर्टेड इनटू गैस. तो हमें जो भी रिएक्शन दिखाना है, इमीडिएटली वी आर शोइंग विद सोडियम मेटल. इमीडिएटली. थोड़ा देर छोड़ देंगे, इट विल कैच फायर. ठीक है, उसके बाद और भी क्वेश्चंस आए हैं कुछ कुछ. और अगर कोई क्वेश्चन है यहां तक से तो प्लीज आस्क. आदित्य गौतम, आई थिंक योर आंसर इज क्लियर नाउ. In the reactivity series, tin and lead are missing. Yes, it is missing over there because we don't have to study lot of reactions between tin and lead. But याद रखोगे PSC mesentel, potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, zinc, iron, nickel, tin, lead. तब हमारे पास है हाइड्रोजन. ठीक है, और एक और चीज यहाँ याद रखोगे, tin and lead also very little difference is there with hydrogen in reactivities, so they also do not react with water. ठीक है, एक और क्वेश्चन कोई अभिषेक ने पूछा है 10A, if we'll heat both copper and water, then कितना भी हीट कर लो, no reaction at all. No reaction at all. ठीक है, और कोई डाउट अगर है तो चलो पूछ लो. रिएक्शन ऑफ metals with oxygen we have discussed today. Reaction of metals with water we have discussed today. This is what I was expecting. Kunal, very good. Now you people will answer. What will happen if sodium reacts with steam? Steam water nahi likhoge beta. Steam. What happens when sodium reacts with steam? Quickly answer karo. 1 minute left hai. Yes, very good. It will form रिस्पेक्टिव ऑक्साइड Na2O प्लस हाइड्रोजन. याद रखो, हाईली रिएक्टिव, ऊपर वाले सबसे रिएक्ट कर सकते हैं. जब कोल्ड वाटर के साथ ही वो इतना एनर्जी प्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं जो वो जल जा रहा है हाइड्रोजन गैस, तो ऑब्वियसली हॉट वाटर के साथ और स्टीम के साथ रिएक्शन विल बी मच मोर वायलेंट. लेकिन वो क्या फॉर्म करेंगे, कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग ऑक्साइड. अमन, Na2O फॉर्मूला है, Na2O प्लस हाइड्रोजन गैस. ठीक है, और एक और क्वेश्चन आया है, व्हाई वी यूज सैंड पेपर विथ लेयर टू रिमूव ऑक्साइड. बेटा सैंड पेपर जो है उसका सरफेस रफ होता है, बहुत आसानी से हम उसको रब करके रिमूव कर सकते हैं जो लेयर उसके ऊपर फॉर्म हो जाता है मैग्नीशियम ऑक्साइड का या मैग्नीशियम कार्बोनेट का.